What were the smallest stakes you've had in a campaign? Let us know in the comments below. I ran a side quest where the characters were recruited to help win a prank war. It was such a hit with the players that I planned to write a follow-up later on. Unfortunately, the campaign ended more abruptly than I intended, so that never happened. Good idea, though. We visited one of the players' hometowns during a winter festival. One of the events was the annual snowball fight tournament, which some teams apparently train for year-round, somehow. We won by using create or destroy water to delete the enemy's snow. Our prize? An unmelting snowball with a DC 5 hypnosis effect. Half the party immediately failed their saves, of course. The party helped a noble deal with his haunted house, only to discover it was haunted by his son's ghost. The son had died in battle just a few months earlier. The haunting was aggressive. Rooms would trap single PCs, go pitch black, and fill with creepy sounds before teleporting them to a cramped maid's closet. The party fought the ghost until someone noticed the son's favorite swords hanging above the mantelpiece. Using those, they one-shotted the ghost, then returned the swords to the noble after explaining the entire situation. They even got a bonus reward for their insight. My players got sidetracked when our low-charisma cleric decided to run for mayor of the small town they had helped save. I hadn't planned for an actual political race, since the party's benefactor was supposed to back a local candidate and her new girlfriend as a surefire win. We ended up delaying the next leg of the adventure for a political campaign arc. Surprisingly, the cleric rolled well until the big campaign speech. He used a magic item that I'd given him earlier to boost his charisma rolls, but the dice gods had other plans. He rolled 2 3s. His speech went from a triumphant retelling of his exploits saving the town to a wild sermon about his god. Needless to say, he didn't win, but he did gain 3 bandits as newfound converts, who now act as his entourage. The town still honored the party by commissioning statues of them in the new town square. So I wrote a random encounter note that simply said, 3 men are outside a bar, all dressed exactly the same. They're arguing about who should go home and change. I thought it would just be a funny mental image, you know, but the players ran wild. They started betting on who would cave in first, then egged the men into fighting each other. Eventually, the party got involved. Then, the city guard joined in. Now, one of the men is in prison. What started as a low-stakes moment spiraled completely out of control. I run a D&D group for teens on the spectrum, and I sometimes let them come up with plot ideas. The lowest stakes but highest engagement story we ever had was the party trying to run a trebuchet-themed amusement park. They had to juggle an angry mother's group, an orcish horde of fanboys, fantasy OSHA regulators, an AI tasked with managing the park, angry reviewers, and gnomish roller coaster engineers, all while trying to stay profitable enough to keep the park open. It was absolute chaos, and they loved every second of it. Oh, I need to see this in action. We had a fishing session, just some simple downtime by the river in town. One of the PCs, a Tabaxi artificer, was teaching my water genasi warlock how to fish, since she's only used to the underwater version. What was supposed to be relaxing quickly turned chaotic. My warlock, using her water walking ring, ended up water skiing behind the giant fish she caught. The artificer panicked trying to help her, while our skeleton cleric decided to part the river with control water, Moses style. This put my warlock at a disadvantage for keeping the fish on the line, and it eventually got away. Meanwhile, our dragonborn paladin stood laughing at the chaos as concerned townsfolk looked on. Back at the inn, our elf fighter was with some other NPC party members, including another skeleton cleric, best friends with the PC cleric, though they follow opposite deities. One NPC, who has a magical necklace that shows what the other wearer is doing, casually told the elf, "Nah, I'm sure they're fine," when asked what the others were up to. Early in the campaign, my players helped a goblin tribe trying to gain recognition in a nation dominated by orcs. While visiting the goblin village, some goblin kids asked the party to help find a ball that they lost. One little goblin girl was clearly upset, quarreling with another goblin, but the players didn't investigate further. During the quest, they ventured into a deep ravine, hoping to find both the ball and some gold that a unscrupulous noble had dumped from a cart during a goblin ambush. They fought a homebrewed mini-boss, a back-leveled Otyiga, found the gold, the ball, and a small brown doll. That rhymed, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. Correct me in the comments below. Most players wanted to leave the doll, but the bard kept it. Back at the village, they returned the ball, and the bard asked the goblin girl if she'd lost something else. Her face lit up when she saw the doll, and she was overjoyed to have it back. There was no immediate reward, but the whole party just, felt good about it. Much later in the campaign, that goblin girl and her friends showed up in a Deus Ex Machina moment to help the party. I once got a carnivorous plant for an NPC goth chick that I thought was cool. The plant ate rodents, very low stakes, but it led to us becoming friends. In the same game, I joined an art club competition and ended up making one of my friends some armor. If these sound low stakes, don't be fooled. In this campaign, the same PC was possessed 6 times last I checked. Our party, consisting of a monk, a druid, and her wolf, both DM-controlled, and my tiefling sorcerer, took a side quest to clear rats from a store. Using my wand, which lets me speak to animals, we struck up a deal with the rats. Instead of exterminating them, we escorted them to a safer place where they wouldn't bother anyone. It was a wholesome, cooperative solution to a typically straightforward problem. To promote natural improv skills, I encouraged everyone to drink in real life for a tavern session. Oh, this is going to end badly. Each character had little tasks or interactions with NPCs. The newest player entered a dance competition battle and had to roll performance checks throughout. To everyone's delight, he won and probably tripped over the couch a few times. In my ongoing game, the wizard got separated from the party and captured by a cult. In a side session introducing new party members, he had to break free without his spellbook or focus. This led to a fight with a custodian in the cult's hideout and after-hours tannery. The custodian hit him with a broom, marking the first damage the wizard had taken in the entire game. He nearly lost the struggle. Also, a vat of urine got spilled everywhere, making the whole encounter even more chaotic and memorable. To this day, the party declares custodians and janitors all around the world as Zodios' sworn enemies. I'll get you, janitors! The first quest in our guild campaign involved a sketchy quest board posting. Following it led the party on a short walk along the river to retrieve a plush dragon that bullies had stolen from a kid and thrown into the water. We were tasked with catching a thieving raccoon. Turns out it had stolen a ring that could cast conjure animals and was using it to create copies of itself to escape. The quest included, but was not limited to, our rogue taking it way too seriously before knowing who the thief was, and the fighter falling out of a tree. It was one of the campaign highlights. The PCs were hired to find a noblewoman's missing obese white cat. Several people died, but Snowball was eventually returned, albeit covered in blood. What? Later, the party investigated threatening letters sent to the organizers of the annual Best in Brunch competition. The event spiraled into chaos, assassinations, poisonings, a drive-by carriage with repeating crossbows, and a full-on food-themed assault led by a waffle wizard, bagel brutes, and nacho ninjas. Final rating, 7 out of 10. Are the bottomless mimosas really bottomless if refills take 20 minutes and come with vicious mockery? I need more details. I love this campaign. I sent my party to find a candle. Literally, any candle for a summoning circle. Instead, they decided to rob the candle shop, forcing me to improvise. They stole a cursed black candle that, when lit, awakened a fire demon. Cleaning up their mess became a 3-part session. By the end, they gained a candle of summoning, which summons a merchant. Petty? Maybe. Worth it? Absolutely. In my first real campaign, my boyfriend DM'd with just me as the player to help me feel more confident. Good boyfriend. One session, my PC arrived in a town he hadn't prepared for. So, he pulled everything out of thin air. It turned into one of my favorite sessions. At the tavern, a man challenged my PC to a drinking competition. Charmed, my PC accepted. After many rounds, the man conceded, but my PC, ever the overachiever, drank the man's pint too, and then blacked out. He woke up in a destroyed temple and was told he was responsible. This was wildly out of character, but he cleaned it up and left, only to be ambushed by a red-haired woman thrilled to marry him. My PC is gay. Thus began the low-stakes but utterly entertaining mission, What the hell happened last night? And involved a lost engagement ring, a stolen goat, befriending an ogre, and a trickster god orchestrating everything. In the end, the god called my PC a hell of a drinking buddy, and left him a ring of protection. Our party derailed the campaign to deliver a package a la Amazon drivers. The DM had an intricate storyline prepared, but we had just wrapped up day 0 at the one-horse town inn general store. An old NPC entered. The paladin declared, "I feel this man is on a holy mission." The DM replied, he's ordering a cooking pot." The paladin insisted, "We accept the holy mission of the cooking pot." The frail old man then charged us with delivering the pot to his daughter 3 towns over. And thus, the holy mission of the cooking pot began. Stew away! A duke hired the party to deliver a single leather glove to a family keep a day's travel away. As players, we spent 4.5 hours speculating on what the glove might mean, planning for every possible reaction the family might have, and taking wildly paranoid precautions the entire trip. When we finally dropped it off, the family's response was simply, "Oh, thanks, lost that at the Duke's." The DM had planned for this to take 20 minutes, tops, before moving on to the next experience-rich adventure. Playing Curse of Strahd, one of my players had a donkey named Butterbean, the sweetest animal, devoted to her owner with fur that smelled like home. The same player rolled 3 animal handling checks over 20 to become the new master of Bucephalus, Strahd's undead flying horse. Bucephalus hated Butterbean and bullied the poor donkey relentlessly. In a melodramatic high school breakup scene, the player drove Butterbean away to appease Bucephalus, who gloated like a mean girl after her victory. Now, all the other PCs hate the guy who broke Butterbean's heart. How dare you abandon Butterbean? Kill that man! Hey everyone, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below what are the smallest stakes you've ever had in a campaign. And if you'd like to keep the lights on and the heat running this winter, you can join our membership program. You don't have to, but if you do, you get early access to videos, maybe some more stuff later. We love you all. See you next time. Toodaloo for now.